Hey everybody, what's going on? I wanted to make a quick video real fast talking about power units, power only. I had a really good conversation with a guy that I'm going to be working with, and we were just chit-chatting about he had a truck, 18 wheeler, sleeper unit, flatbed. He had to lay it over, and he was going down the mountains in West Virginia. And we had a really good conversation, and he got his new truck. He leased on with somebody else. He's not making enough money. He wants to do OTR himself, factoring through me, dispatch with me, compliance with me, getting set up his brand new trucking company, and buying a trailer from a guy that I know. And we were just talking in conversation about he has his new power unit because he had to lay his other one over given his situation with the accident that he was in because his brakes went out, so he had to drop it, and nobody got hurt, and he didn't get hurt either. But he now has his power unit and he's leased on with somebody else, and we were just chit-chatting, and I was talking with him about, he's just saying, I can't keep doing this. I don't make any money as the power unit using these guys. They're charging 20% on the loads that I'm doing. I can't keep doing this. What do you suggest, Paul? Like, what would you suggest that I do? And I told him, hey, do not leave those guys and go think you're going to operate power only on the load boards. And I was telling him, you don't go into a gunfight with a knife. You don't cock a gun if you don't have a bullet in it. You're not going to get out there on the road if you have the wrong piece of equipment. You're not going to make any money, and that's not going to improve his situation. So we were chit-chatting about purchasing a flatbed, Conestoga, dry van, reefer, and just chit-chatting about that stuff. And I want to make this video to educate anybody else that might be out there that could be thinking a similar thought process. I would encourage you, don't. You need to have a piece of equipment. If you're going to go out there as a day cab or even with a sleeper power unit, this is not the market. This is not, it's not a bad market. It's not a hot market. It's not super ice cold. I think all of us kind of expected, Trump being in office and just, hoorah, and the market was going to improve. But at the same time, too, you can't turn an aircraft carrier overnight. And a lot of us kind of thought, magically, the market's going to be better, and it's going to take a little while. I'm going to assume most likely the market's going to improve at the end of July to the end of this year. It's going to be a great back end 6 months to the front end 6 months. That's our expectation and the data that we're looking at and we're seeing. But I just want to give you some wisdom, some advice, some guidance. If anybody, for you to bounce a ball off of a backboard to get a perspective of just 2 cents from a person that has been in this business for a decade, from a person that has sold 550 truckloads a month for 5 years, and then been a freight factor for 5 years, both sides of the table and the perspective that I can give, I've done this long enough where if there's any old timers that have been in the transportation game for a minute, when I say this, I know you're going to understand. If you're new, you're probably not going to. But when you're talking to somebody on the phone, or you're talking to somebody at, the gas station or whatever, you can tell. You can tell if you've done this long enough that, yeah, that person, they're not a dry van person. I bet that's a flatbed guy. Yeah, I bet that person, I bet they're not a flatbed. I bet they're a dry van. You can get a feel for these people. These people, you people, me people, these people. Anyway, you get my point. When you've been doing this long enough, you can kind of get a pulse, and you can tell who you're interacting with. And hopefully you can get a pulse from me with all these frickin' videos that I make. And just the thought process of the feedback that I can give you, I would greatly encourage you, don't take your power unit and go on a load board and think you're going to be able to have a successful trucking company. You don't go into a gunfight with a knife. You don't start a trucking company without a piece of equipment. Same thing with people that are calling me, oh, I got a 15-foot flatbed. What are you going to do with that? You're not going to make any money with that. You need a 35 or a 40-foot flatbed trailer if you're doing hot shot. And same thing, you can't make any money if you're doing power only. It's just not that market. If it was 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, those were good power only markets. This is not a good power only market. It's not. I don't see that it's going to be until maybe 2027, to be completely honest with you. I wouldn't try to be out there riding shotgun just as a power only unit. So I would encourage you, if that's what you're going to do, if you're leased on with somebody right now and you're thinking, man, I hate being leased on, I'm just going to start my own trucking company and MC number, call me. We'll be able to get you set up with your MC number and DOT number, all your carrier compliance. I'll do the factoring. We got the loads for dispatching. We got a contact that's going to be able to do your financing and get you squared away with the equipment that you need and make you successful in this game. So anyway, I don't want to be too long-winded, but there is a level of perspective and discernment and wisdom through experience. A lot of people experience experiences and they don't learn anything. I think a lot of people can get confused that we're making changes in your life. Not all change is progress. And I think people get confused with that. Well, I'm making changes, I must be progressing. No. Anyway, I don't want to get too theological, but I think you get what I'm saying. So if I could give you that 2 cents, I would encourage you, get your dry van, metal floor, steel floor. You can get a wood floor, but I'd rather you be a food grade dry van as opposed to a non-food grade, because you'll get more loads and you'll make more money. Same thing with the flatbed or the Conestoga, 48 foot. If you can find a 53 and you can afford it, makes you a unicorn, and people save your number. They'll save your number and they'll call you as opposed to you having to call them if you pick yourself up a 53-foot flatbed. Anyway, long story short, have a great day. Catch you on the next video. Bye.